Why is something so natural still surrounded by silence today? Menstruation is a normal part of life, yet stigma and misinformation continues to affect girls' health, confidence, and education. Welcome to Bridge Talks. Today, we are breaking the silence around menstrual hygiene and exploring how families, schools, and communities can create understanding and dignity around this topic. It's really an essential topic, and joining us is a very special guest who is going to be talking about menstrual hygiene. That is Patrick Warren Wilson. You're welcome to Bridge Talks. Patrick Warren Wilson works with Afrian South Sudan as head of communication and advocacy. I guess Afrian is new to me. He will tell us more about Afrian later. And at the same time, he's a content creator. He's a mental health counselor. That's nice. And a menstrual health management trainer. Rare to find a man who does that. And at the same time, he's a program volunteer with the Real Foundation. So that is our guest for today, and I will give him a few minutes to tell us more about himself and why probably you should listen to this episode. Thank you very much. Patrick, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. It's like I said earlier, it's a really pleasure to be here this morning. Sorry for postponing from last week up to this week, but then due to a lot of work up and down, so it has taken me this while to be here. But at least now I'm glad to be here in
That's
this
fine.
platform. Yes, I'm called Patrick Warren. I work with African South Sudan, the head of communication and advocacy. And at the same time, I do mental health counseling, which I find it is something very passionate for me because I love talking to people, social people who are going through trauma, and then guiding them to get through their healings is actually what I love to do. And then at the same time, I discover also I have a passion of talking to women. And then what is the best way to get to help young girls, especially in schools, rather than
Yeah,
focusing on the menstrual hygiene? These are some of the things that is the greatest things that is affecting our country at large. And then I get to discover that I can also get champion talking to women, although I'm a man, but I still I can talk to them so that they can raise their voices on menstruation. Yes, AFRIAN is a youth-led organization that is based in South Sudan, but then it is not just in South Sudan. AFRIAN is a regional organization because, like you say, you're in Ethiopia, right? Also, we have
yeah,
AFRIAN chapter in Ethiopia.
okay.
There's AFRIAN chapter in Ethiopia, yes, and then we have AFRIAN South Sudan, we have AFRIAN Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi. Our headquarters is from South Africa, even up to Nigeria. Yes, the aim of forming AFRIAN is so that it can focus on the issues related to young people, especially in the
Sure.
aspect of sexual reproductive health, right? That is the backbone of AFRIAN. This is where we're focusing in. So we took our menstrual health management to be one of the key aspects in our community engagement because we get to realize within our communities we're stagnant. And then our cultures actually will play a greater role in making us stuck in one place without moving forward. That we see most of the things related to sexual reproductive health as a taboo because there is a lot of stigma around that. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think, Mr. Patrick, according to the bio that you have just told us, you're really a very amazing person. And you are actually exactly the right person for this topic of discussion to do with menstrual hygiene. And it's really also very nice to get to know that there are men that are passionate about this, despite the fact that it's a topic that a lot of people run away from. It's a topic that, people really don't want to discuss about. But now we have men that are even passionate about it. This is really very nice and very good for the ladies that are coming and the young girls that are also coming up. So that is really very wonderful. You also mentioned about the mental health. This is really very important. Mostly at the university, we have seen that this is one of the very important things. If you can have a mental health counselor, because we go through a lot at the
Yeah,
university, the grades, the stress, the studying, the brokenness is also a big issue. So you're
that's
broke,
a
you're
major
studying,
issue.
you're suffering, and things are very hard. If you have somebody to talk to you, it's really very great. So this is
That's
really
true.
very nice, and we are happy as Bridge Talks to have you with us today. So we
Thank
are
you.
going to jump direct into the discussion. And of course, we just have to first form some kind of background for the discussion. So to start
Okay.
with, if you can briefly tell us what menstruation is first of all, and then we can go to what menstrual hygiene is. So you're welcome, Mr.
Okay.
Patrick.
Thank you. In a short definition, I can give you, I can tell you, is menstruation is the release of the blood through a woman's ovaries traveling down to the uterus and coming out through the vaginal or the female reproductive system. That is what menstruation, because it's something that is natural and it is something that is normal. That's what I can say. It is creation, procreation. So menstruation, it's something that is supposed to be free and accepted. It doesn't need to have a price or it doesn't need to be questionable. So it should be something that everyone accepts, and it should be something that is what makes a woman who she is, a whole being. That is how short I can define menstruation. Yes.
Okay, how about let us know also what menstrual hygiene is?
Menstrual hygiene is that stage of aspect of whereby women has to focus on their well-being, especially their health when they're looking into period of menstruation. So like when a woman is menstruating, their body becomes too delicate, it becomes too fragile. Other aspect, if they don't take care of themselves very well, anything can happen. It's either you be contracted these common STDs, the STIs, that things are very common, especially during menstruations. The the blood itself, when it comes out, it has to be protected or it has to be handled in a very careful case because this is something that comes out of a human body. And we do understand anything that comes out of a human body, it is something that is already contaminated. So it's either it has a bad smell or it's either it's actually just comes out when you are not ready for it and then it messes your whole body. Especially. So when we talk about menstrual hygiene, we are focusing on the aspect of a woman taking care of themselves during that period of menstruation. We're looking at how they use these washrooms, the wash facilities during the period of menstruation. And then we're looking at also on how they maintain their hygiene, especially when they're using these pads. How clean is it and how they put it on and how well do they maintain themselves from getting any types of diseases that can travel through the vaginal channel.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, for sharing that personal perspective of what menstrual hygiene is. And actually, when we come now to seeing that, the whole menstruation period is a big process, and it's a process that ladies go through a lot of things. And that's why we come up and say there is something called menstrual hygiene, where you have to make sure that you're monitoring your health, you're checking on your health well, and the whole process of menstruation is done in a way that it's hygienic. So just to
Sure.
ask, where would you put the overall overview of menstrual health in South Sudan? In terms of actually grading it, how do you see menstrual health among the ladies, among the women, among the upcoming children that are going through menstruation? How would you put it in South Sudan?
Thank you. In South Sudan in general, I can say at least now, as per this year, because let me okay, tell you from the background of Afrian. Afrian was formed in 2021. And then since then, our major focus has been on menstrual health management, whether through school engagements, community engagement, in government, even engagement, all the stakeholders, every engagement we have with them, our major focus is on menstrual engagement. So by then, it was really very hard for you to have a conversation with the schools related to menstrual hygiene because our school is still being driven by our cultural beliefs and norms. So with the changes, with the push and here backward, inwards, coming in and out, at least I can tell you from last year, 2024 up to this year, I have seen there is great change. Even people are now looking or calling to have sessions on menstrual health management because they get to realize actually the women are suffering a lot within our community. And then they need awareness. They need someone to talk to them on how they can handle these cases. You see, some of our mothers, they didn't know how to take care of themselves. So up to now, when even they're having their daughters, they fail on how to guide them, on how to advise them, especially when they're in this on their menstrual time, on how they can take care of themselves and maintain their hygiene. So that's why we comes in. We make sure that yes, you send your daughters to school. We go to the schools to make sure I have this good engagement. Then we talk to the students, not just the girls alone, but also talk to the boys because we do know at home the boys have sisters. So let them also be the champions of change that we're looking within our communities. Let them also be the people who can talk to their mothers, to their parents, and they can understand. Because if you say we're only focusing on the girls alone, then you're actually leaving a bigger problem out. Because remember, we say the boys are the ones actually who are now what? Who are the bullies, who make the
Sure.
jokes, who crack the jokes with
Yeah,
the ladies, yes. So we need to
yeah.
involve them in all our engagement. So at the country large this year, I can say the level of engagement has gone high because we even have engagement with the parliamentarians, we have engagement with different ministries, the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, because we're looking at how we can integrate the menstrual hygiene itself as a topic within the school so that at least when that time comes, the school can even give us a call and we come to the school. Even if it's 2 hour session with all the girls and the boys, we will do that. So I can see the level of engagement within the country has a bit gone high this year.
Well, that's really very great. And I think I'm already seeing the great work that Afrian is doing in South Sudan. And that is really very beautiful of them. And it's nice that we are seeing there is engagement from actually different bodies, including the ministry, I think, and the different
Yeah.
schools that maybe you have done some kind of awareness in. So that is really very wonderful from all those bodies. And that awareness is very important for all the ladies, all the young girls that are coming up. The same thing as you said, the bullies, the boys, they're also a big deal and they should be given some kind of awareness. So that is very
Mm.
nice. And apart from that, I would like to actually know, according to your view, why do you think that menstruation is still treated as a taboo topic in many communities around the world? It's not only in South Sudan.
Well, I will always love to focus from our context as a South Sudanese because we have to fight it from internal before we see what the outside world is doing, right? So,
Yeah.
what I can say from our context, most of us we have been driven by our cultural beliefs, our norms, and what our fathers or grandfathers go through is what we go through, right? So, like if you see
So,
in certain communities you go to, they say if the woman is menstruating, the woman is not supposed to be within the house or within the compound. She is supposed to be outside in a bush somewhere far there, of whereby they have to dig a hole. She has to sit down there. This whole 4 days or 5 days that the woman is menstruating, she has to be there because they see her as unclean, someone who is unclean. You see, I've
Yeah.
traveled around the country in few villages and have seen this, and I can tell you this as a testimony. I've seen this, but then we get to talk to them and have to create certain kind of conversation around, especially focusing on the women, because you see, our cultures at some point doesn't value women or give them that right for them to talk, for them to air what is affecting them. So we become the voice of those women. We become the champions that talk on their behalf, so that at least they can have something to talk about. So we talk to them that woman on her menstrual period doesn't mean that she is unclean. It means that she is going through the process of procreation. So after that process, if you sleep with her or you have any sexual intercourse with the woman, automatically she will get pregnant at that time after the menstrual time. So that doesn't make them unclean. The only way you can save them or protect them is by making sure you provide for them the sanitary products at any given moment. It should be there.
Sure.
So we shouldn't look at this menstruation as a taboo, because through the menstruation, that's what brings us to life. So today, a woman who doesn't see her menstruation, she cannot give birth, right?
Yeah,
So she
sure.
has to go through medical checkups. She has to go through treatments in order for her to make sure that she sees her period. So a woman who doesn't see her period doesn't will not conceive in any way. So menstruation is what makes a woman whole. It's what makes a woman to produce. So it becomes very important. So we always talk to our communities that let us not look at menstruation as a taboo. Let us look at menstruation as a blessing. It's something that can give you another child to run in front of you, and that gives you joy. When you see a child running in front of you, that is joy. Why does that child happens to come? Because menstrual, there's a miss in menstrual process. If a woman misses her menstruation after sexual intercourse, automatically that makes she has conceived. So we should learn to appreciate menstruation. We should learn to see it as a gift. We should learn to see it as a blessing.
Sure. Yeah. Uh, Yes, thank you very much. And I love the way you said it there. We should love to see menstruation as a gift, and it's something that should be celebrated. It's not something that they should be ashamed of or something that they should see as different or abnormal, because it's a normal
Mm,
biological process and it's a normal
true.
physiology of the body. So it's really very important that it shouldn't be seen as something different happening to the ladies. So coming to something to do with, the beliefs of the community, it actually affects the young ladies, and it could affect their well-being or their confidence. So how do you think this kind of silence and discomfort of the periods affects their confidence and well-being?
Silence. Actually, this is one of the things I actually fight, because when we look at silence, we are not just looking now at the menstrual aspect. We're looking also at the mental health of a person who goes through the process of the menstruation. You see? So once a person is quiet, that means mentally they are not okay. Mentally, they need help, they need support, they need counseling, something that can bring them out to speak about it. You see? Most of our girls, even some of the engagement, let me say some of the engagement we have in the schools, most of our girls, it's hard for them to open up. Why? Because they say my culture doesn't allow me to open up about my menstrual issues to a man. You see? So they look at it
Yeah,
as like it is a secret. It is something that I'm not supposed to discuss with anybody when it is coming, how I'm feeling about it. They look at it as it is what a secret. But then we tell them menstruation is no longer a secret. Even me, without knowing me, I will just know that every man uses your menstruation. It is something for me. It's no longer a secret. For me, it is something that is public, and it is something that we need to talk about it. It is something that we need to open up to discuss more about it, because you see, most of some of the girls when to go through their menstruation, some of them have this menstrual cramps, right? It comes
yeah,
with
sure.
pain. So if you don't talk about the pain that you go through every month, how will you get the help that you needed? It becomes too difficult for someone to help you. It becomes too difficult for someone to guide you or counsel you on how you can get the medical service or the help you needed. You see?
Yeah,
So this is why we say it is very important for us all to speak about menstrual health management. I could remember 2024, 2023 there, the international team that came out of for menstrual health management celebration, which is on 28th of May every year, it is to break the silence, right?
sure.
So breaking the silence need to start from our communities. Breaking the silence need to have dialogues around it. Breaking the silence, we need to have high level of engagement with our stakeholders, the local chiefs, everyone who is involved within a community. We need to have the conversation for them to give the space for the women to talk about their menstruation. We should be breaking the silence, because with the silence it comes a stigma. With the silence it becomes mental illness, no longer mental health but mental illness. And once it has affected you in that aspect of it becoming a mental illness, then there you cannot speak about it anymore. There it needs you not to go through counseling. It needs you to go through consolation. You need to actually come out of it, and coming out of it, it will be a type of word that you need to really to speak out loud. Because once you air your voice about something, it is one way of you relieving. And I always have this word that I must say to people that I problem share, it's half solved, right? Because once you solve it, I may not give you the solution 100%, but I may give you 50% of the solution, which is talking to you and bringing you back to life.
Yes, okay, thank you very much, Patrick. And I think I love the way you put it there. Just like you say, that the silence will obviously at the end of the day affect the mental health of the involved persons. And that's why it's very important to talk about this kind of thing, because we come to realize also that actually the young girls who are having periods for the first time in their lives, Some of them will get shocked because nobody has been talking about it. They have not been told anything about it, and when it comes to happen to them, they get shocked and start wondering what is happening to me. Am I fine? Is everything okay with me? I think I've
Yeah,
even had
yeah.
stories where others start thinking that they have contracted a blood cancer
They
or
are sick
something like that.
actually. Yeah. Ah, yes, yes, yes. We have these stories. Yeah, of course, usually I develop stories out of this. In the office, we have so many stories related to different engagements we have. You'll find someone even telling you like, oh, the first time I see my period, I was afraid to talk to my mother. Why? Because my mother never opened any conversation related to that. So for me to
Yeah,
talk to my friend will look at me like, okay, you're going to die. Why will you be seeing a blood coming out of you? Because they say when a blood comes out, on a normal day, when a blood comes out of you, which means there is a wound, right? So when
sure,
you
yeah.
see a blood coming out of you, then which means there is a wound inside of you. So you see, it becomes too traumatized for them to talk about.
Yeah.
So that is why they
So
fear to talk about it at most point.
yeah, sure. I think there are a lot of stories that have been developed around this topic. And actually,
Yeah,
awareness
yeah.
to the ladies is very important. As you can see, someone saying that they have a wound inside and that wound is now bleeding,
Uh-huh.
and they are now worried that something is going to happen. So that is really very important to talk about it. So actually, to proceed with the next point is actually the fact that cultural beliefs and traditions actually look at this as something not to talk about. Uh, how does it influence the way that menstruation is talked about? The cultural beliefs and the misinformation and the traditions that we have. How is it affecting the way
Mm.
that menstruation is talked about?
Yes, let me drive you from the aspect of culture. Most of us within the country, most of our cultures, we have been driven by our culture. Is what I always say. Why? Because we look at our culture as the beginning and the end of all our decisions. If you are making any decision right now, it has to be cultural based. If you are making any statement right now, we have to look at our culture. What does our culture say about this? What our culture influence this? So this is the thing that is really affecting us so much within our country. So no matter how much you say, yes, this year we have high level of engagement, you can see this high level of engagement or improvement. It is not in the rural centers. It is in the urban centers. Why? Because in the urban centers, people are accepting the changes one way or another. Because once you send your child to school, they come back with new ideas every day. They talk to you. Oh, mama, today this happened. Papa, this one today happened in school. So and so say this and so and so. You see, so it is one way or another they are learning. But if you look deep into our rural areas within the country, it is very hard for them to have this kind of conversation around menstruation because they look at it, they say like it's something that we have nothing to talk about. We just do know that menstruation is a taboo and it is something that we should not even talk about it because our ancestors will not be pleased with us. You see,
Yeah,
someone is telling you. Let me give you an example. I was in Wow last week. I
yeah,
had engagement also on the things related to positive masculinity, how to train a man to help the women in the house, right? Then look at
sure.
it like this: we're telling a man, if your woman is tired, you can help her, whether you can clean the house or you can clean the compound. And a man is telling you, I will never do that. I will die before I do that. Imagine. So
Yeah,
you say it is more or less the same thing. Our culture has actually created this kind of belief in us that it becomes too rigid. It becomes part of what that we don't want to get rid of it because once we get rid of it, we look like we don't have purpose in life anymore. But
yeah,
that is not it. Our culture has so much influence. It's only people who are educated, learn it like you and me and any other one out there who's learning. They get to realize actually the world is going ahead and we're remaining behind. What can we do in order for us to break it? Then we say, let us
sure.
have conversations. When we have conversations, the conversation is just not any other normal conversation. It should be a conversation that is bringing transformations within our communities. A conversation that is bringing about a change within our communities. And then if we need to look at that change, the change should start from our chiefs. If you go to our stakeholders, yes, we say the government is that the government will do their part, but who are the people that the community listen to? These are the local chiefs.
Yeah,
So such engagement, such changes, if we want to look at how we can start influencing the change to come about, we should start from the local chiefs. After them, that 1 or 2 days dialogue that is of change, transformative dialogue related to menstrual health management. Right now, we have engagement with the stakeholders. We have this parliamentary committee on development and population and development. We're looking at how we can have tax exemptions on what menstrual products, right? So
yeah,
if we started having this engagement with the government, which means we look at it like, okay, we also need to have engagement with the local chiefs so that at least they can have an informed decisions related to menstrual health management. So all the changes, all the influence we're looking into, it should just start about from our chiefs because through them we can achieve the the targets of how the communities should change around menstrual or how the community get to accept the menstruation without stigmatizing it or without rejecting it in any way.
yeah. Actually, thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, and you have really placed that very well. And that was very insightful from you about the beliefs and the traditions that we have about menstruation. And actually, I think we want to now go to the practical part of the whole thing. Actually, we are going to talk about the essential menstrual hygiene practices. So there are certain practices that every girl should know, more specifically the first time menstruators. So which kind of practices would you actually talk about? Would you say are the best for menstrual hygiene?
We have several practices that we can always talk about to these first timers because right now in our country we are looking at, like, statistically, we'll say even a girl of 12 to 13 years can start seeing their menstruation. It's no longer like before that she has to be either
Yeah,
17 or 18 for her to see their menstruation. Now it's even you find a young
that
girl of
even start
13 years
earlier by 9.
seeing their menstruation. So at that young tender age, someone who doesn't understand how best to approach them and talk to them about the best practices they can use about the period. It's just to have a civic conversation with them of wherever you advise and tell them, you know, menstruation is not a bad thing. Menstruation is a good thing. This one is telling you that your body is accepting certain changes. Your hormones are becoming too active. So taking care of yourself during this period of menstruation is very important. And then after the period of menstruation is upsetting. You know, once you are a first timer, you know, menstruation comes to different women in different aspects. Some of them, their body becomes too active to engage in sexual practices. Some of them, their body becomes weak. Some of them, their body becomes like, that depends on how the hormones react. So you as a first timer, if your body always reacts on the aspect of you having this sexual intercourse with the opposite gender, the best way you can do is to abstain. Look for a book or listen to music, look for something that keeps your mind focused. Because once you're idle and you're overthinking about it, it disturbs you. Secondly, when it is your first time seeing your menstruation, make sure you have conversation with your parents. Let your parents be the closest people around you. Talk to your parents. Because most girls, they are more comfortable talking to their mothers. So you tell her, talk to your mother. Explain to her what your body is going through, and your mother will help you in that aspect. She will know what to do. If she cannot help you, she will always know someone that she can talk to bring to talk to you at the same time. Talk to your friends. Right now, we have other friends who are already well versed, who are having these smartphones. They go online automatically and Google menstrual, how to manage menstruation. You make sure you talk to these people. Secondly, thirdly, when you're doing your menstruation, you make sure you shower at any given moment. Make sure your body is clean hygienically. You shower. And then when you're staying with your parts, it has to be at least 3 to 4 hours. It doesn't need to go more. Some people say their stays for 6, but it also depends on the flow on the of the what of the menstruation. If your menstruation is thick, that it comes that heavy, you have to at least stay 3 to 4 hours. Then you change. You don't need to stay with it 6 hours or the whole day. You need to change it because once it is heavy, it makes you uncomfortable. And some of them, when it stays there for too long, it also burns you. It burns your female reproductive system because it is unwanted anymore. So you're supposed to change it. So bathing every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, changing your sanitary pads 3 to 4 times a day, and making sure you follow with a health care provider at any given moment you're seeing a menstruation for the first time, and having conversation with your parents. These are most important 4 steps or practices that we always advise the first timers when it comes to menstrual health management.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. Thank you very much. I think you've given very great practices there. Starting from, number one is they should perceive it as a normal thing. It shouldn't freak them out that what is happening to my body.
yeah,
Going to conversing with their parents, letting their parents know what's going on. Probably the parents could contribute more on what they can do or what is best for them when they're aware of what is happening. But I think when they
so
go quiet about it, and then it would be difficult to help. Just as you say, the problem already discussed
problem
about is
shared.
already half
Yeah,
solved.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So that could also help. The other thing is making sure that their body is clear. They're even supposed to change their pads at least within 3 to 4 hours, maybe maximum 6 hours.
Mm,
But 3 to 4 hours would be very great. Also about I think eating habits. If you can be able to drink a lot of fluids, water, juice, and what it could help with the period cramps and also with the flow and all that. So I think these are really very
yeah,
good
yeah.
practices. And it takes us to our next question, which is actually something equally important, which says, what health risks can girls face when they don't follow this menstrual hygiene or they have poor menstrual hygiene? What kind of health issues will they be able to face?
Yeah, what I can say in related to that is actually it is very risky for our girls, especially when they're under menstruation and they are not hygienically protected, you see, because
Yeah,
most of these young girls they contract most of these STIs or let me say, yeah, the UTIs, the urinary tracking diseases. Most of them gets it from the washrooms where they are using it as in a common public places, let me say, or even at home, because you don't know at home who comes in and who goes out. Visitors comes in and visitors goes out. So in that period of when they're under menstruation, it is very important for them to be very conscious about their hygiene, because dirty places always it's easier for them to contract any of these urinary tracking disease, and then it causes so much complications. And when it is not treated, colors, it affects a woman's what? It affects a woman's womb. Then it makes it hard for you later on to conceive or even to have a child. So
yeah,
once a woman is on their menstruation, whatsoever they are doing in that period of time, what's wash facility they're going to use, they always have to make sure that it is clean. and they should be used Dettol at most cases to make sure that they clean their washrooms so that it is clean, it is hygiene for them. Because for us men, let me say, we don't care how we use the washrooms, right? Because I can just come here and stand and then I urinate and I go out. How about these women? For them, they have to go low and go down and use it. And then when they're using the force that comes out to the urine, it is still splashed back on them. And then when it is fine, those infections there, it is very easy for them to contract it. So what I will advise is for them to make sure the wash facilities that they're using, whether at home or in public or in school, it has to be clearly clean. It has to be neat. It has to be clean every single day, even day, afternoon, or evening. It has to be washed 3 times in order for them to use it. It is advisable for them to make sure that they are using a clean wash facilities. Secondly, the types of sanitary pads they are going to use. Some women complain. This is a real life story, I can tell you. I one time had an engagement with a young girl who told me that there are certain types of menstrual products that actually gives them a skin rash. You see, so I asked her, then which type of menstrual product do you use? Then she told me, I use the reusable. We also have the reusable sanitary pads, the one they can use, and then they rewash it. You wash it in a very hygienic way, you put it up, and then also you use it. She told me, I use only the reusable sanitary pads. I don't use the disposable one, because once I use it, it becomes too hot under me and it burns my reproductive system. That makes me uncomfortable. So you see, at that aspect, the body also becomes too sensitive towards certain things. See? So once your body doesn't accommodate that, you leave it. You look for what best works for you. This is also you avoiding the risk of getting any other diseases. Thirdly, we have what we call this tampon, because some women use tampon. Some of them usually says, whenever I use a tampon and I insert it inside of me, it also gives me itching inside of me there. You see, because it doesn't work well for me. So I use the disposable one. You see, it becomes back to the choice of what you use when you're on your menstruation. Because when you get to know what you use when you're on your menstruation, it is better for you as a woman to avoid any other types of complication that may happen today, tomorrow, or in a nearby future. So the one thing I can tell them, in order for you to avoid all this risk, to make sure you use a clean and hygienic wash facilities. Secondly, get to understand the menstrual products that goes with your body, because all bodies are not the same, and it's the hormones are all not the same in a woman's body.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that is well put, starting from cleaning the areas that they use, which are the washrooms, and the rest of the areas that they're going to visit. And then the types of the sanitary pads and the methods that you're using, whether it's reusable pads or the temporary ones or the tampons. So I think once you try out one and you see it's giving you issues or it's not going well with you, it's better to try out another, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I think that is better. So that is very good. I think to proceed with is on the other side of educating the boys. Is it of any importance to educate boys? And also, apart from that, what could be the best way to make sure that the boys are made aware about this kind of menstrual hygiene and the periods generally?
Yes, you see, we have, at the beginning when we started all this engagement on menstrual hygiene, we were using one strategy that we're only focusing on the girls. Yeah. But then with time, we get to realize the more we focus on the girls, we are leaving the boys out. Then the girls are becoming more aware, and the boys are now complaining. Why is it that every time you're coming here, you only have engagement with the girls and you're avoiding us, leaving us out? Don't you know? If a young man telling, don't you know, we are the people who actually bullying them in the schools. When I say a woman, she's going, and a girl is going, and mistakenly Hamens, she started bleeding, and she did not know, and she covers her place. And I say, don't you think I'll be the first person to laugh? Then we're like, yes, you are right. Then
That's
how
true.
best? Yes. Then we're like, how best now can we bring these boys to be part of the conversation so that they will be the same people who can actually what? Protect the girls.
Can help out. Yeah.
Yes, who can protect the girls now. So we said it's okay. Now, how best do we bring the boys into the conversation? We said, let the boys be part of every engagement that can actually what? That
make or create a safer space within the schools. So we say let us engage the boys. Let the boys be part of the conversation so that we will later on not hear this boy was bullying that girl because the girl says her menstrual product. And then one a project news will tell them ask, because it's always good for you to ask. You as a boy, don't you have a sister in the house? They'll tell you, yes, I have a sister. Yes, right now. Yes, right now you have a sister. And then you find out that someone is laughing at your sister on the street or in the school because your sister has seen her period without knowing. What will be your reaction? Then we're like, I will go and make sure I beat that black. Blue black. Yes, I will not be happy. I'll have to display that. Then we're like, exactly. The same way you will not want someone to laugh at your sister, it is the same way you don't have to laugh at someone's sister. The best way you can do is to make sure you come to them closely, you talk to them. If you fear that maybe they will feel angry at you, talk to any other girl within the school. If it is you who sees the first, make sure you talk to any other girl. Or you go to what? School teacher. Or we have these women caregivers within the school. We talk to them. Say, you know what, I've seen a girl from 1 to 3, she is going through this. So I was afraid to talk to her. That's why I came to you so that to see how best we can help. make sure you talk to someone if you cannot talk to her. But if you feel you are willing to talk to her, also direct approach is always also very good. You go to talk to her. You know what, my sister, I'm sorry to come to you like this, but then I've seen you have to stay in yourself. Use a very polite language.
Sure.
When you approach them, yeah, use a very polite language. You know what, my sister, I've seen you having one, two, three. So please, don't worry about it. Let me help you to cover up. Pick any clothes or even a book. If there's no any clothes around, pick this book. Just put behind her and cover. Help her to the washroom. That way, you have really helped her in a greater way. You as a boy, for you to be part of this, you need to learn how to go to the shop and buy a sanitary pads for your sister in the house.
Yeah.
You see, some boys will
Yeah.
tell you, "Oh no, I can never be. How will I even start asking for sanitary pads in the shop?"
Yeah. I think I saw
Then they
one
have
also online whereby a man was told by the wife, and that the man had to dress like a woman, cover the head, and then go to buy it because he couldn't go and buy it as a man. He has to go as a woman.
Yeah, so you see that those are the things that we really need to work hard to make sure we break those beliefs or those stereotypes, knowing that it's only a woman who can go to the shop and buy a sanitary pad. No, we need to break that because even a man. So right now, what we do in most of the engagement, you're telling the boys if you want to go to the shop to buy sanitary pads for your sister and you don't want to go and call it, I need always. There are so many ways you can call it, and even the owner of the shop will understand. For instance, you say
Yeah.
you go to the shop and you say, you know what, excuse me, sir, I need this, I need a biscuit for my sister. And then the shop owner will ask you, which kind of biscuit? Then you just tell him, you know what, I need this monthly biscuit for my sister.
Yeah.
The shop owner will understand the monthly biscuit is what the sanitary pads. Secondly, if
Automatically.
you don't want to say that, yes, you go and tell them, you know what, I need a chocolate. Yes, they know they don't. Some of the shops don't sell chocolate in the shop, right? You go and tell them, you know what, I need a chocolate. I need a chocolate for my sister. They'll be like, I don't have chocolate. They'll be like, no, I need the monthly chocolate that women use every month.
Yeah.
Make sure you come up with a language that if you cannot say direct and it always use a creative word so that it has to be communication between you and the shop owner. And it is not a taboo for you to go to the shop and buy sanitary pads. It is actually a blessing because one day you'll have a daughter, and then it will happen that it is only you and your daughter in the house. How best will you help her? This is how you learn how to help your sister. Then from your sister, it becomes to your child. From a child, it continues to become something normal. So we need to normalize it from right now that you can also help your sister go to the shop and buy sanitary pad. You can also help your sister when she say, you know, today I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling too much cramps. I need you to warm for me water so that I can get some bathing. You need to do it. So bringing boys and men to be part of this conversation, it helps a lot because when they get to understand it, they'll be like, okay, so it means I can play that role to my sister without feeling lesser of myself or without feeling like, no, I'm a man, I can never do that. No. You need to be like, and once you do it, you actually become twice the man you are. You have also to
Yeah.
give them that
Sure.
encouragement. Yes, because once you do it for your sister, for any other girl out there, you have become twice the man you are. Because your sister will respect you, that lady that you have helped will respect you. Will be like, you know what, your father or your mother actually really need to be a responsible person. That is how it works
Actually.
with a young boy.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you've structured it very well because it's very important for the boys or the men to have knowledge about things to do with periods, things to do with menstrual hygiene. And it really helps a lot because I think we all have sisters, we all have friends, we all have cousins, we all have ladies who may actually go through some kind of stuff one day that may need your help if you probably have some kind of knowledge about it. So that is really very nice, and I think it's important for us to have that kind of knowledge. So to proceed with this, one of the very important people in the field of having this kind of knowledge is our parents. I think the mothers and the fathers should be playing a very big role in actually supporting their children in this kind of stuff. So about the parents who actually have a very big role to play here. And I was saying, how can the parents, both either mother or father, be able to actively support their daughters in all this kind of process of periods and normalize the conversation about periods? How could they be of big support to their children?
Yes, you as a parent, you should become the role models to your children in the house because your kids, whosoever they are, they're all looking up to you, right? The way how you do the parenting is how they also you're grooming them. The way how you treat them is also how they are reflecting it on themselves. So as parents, having this conversation around menstruation with your daughters, with your sons, it should be a normal conversation of day to day. It shouldn't be something that you keep off secrets or something that is of private. Because remember, if you don't train your child in a way of how they can handle themselves when you're not there in certain situations, it becomes hard for them to do certain things when you are not there. You see? So parenting doesn't just come like you're every day at home and you're out. No, parenting comes with guidance. Parenting comes with conversation. Parenting comes with caring, giving that listening ears, understanding. This is all what parenting comes with. So in that aspect of grooming a child, you have to make sure you teach them certain ethics, the ethics that is accepted by the community behaviors that is accepted by everyone, not a behavior of like you grooming a child to be just a male child with all the masculinity and then forgetting what are the right approach of handling things at home. You see? So you as a parent should become the number one teacher in the house, even before sending your child in the house. Your child learns from you. The manners. If you don't train the manners at home, they carry the same behavior to school. And then what happens? It becomes a problem in the school. See? So every time you do call, but then you as a parent, you become the number one teacher. Whatsoever way you handle a child, whatsoever way you train a child, it is the same way they're picking it and they will live with it. And later on, when they get married, this is the same behavior they will go with because they'll be like, I've seen my father not doing this. I've seen my father not touching this. They will learn it from you. I've seen my father helping my mother in the kitchen. I've seen my father going out to the shop buying sugar, buying salt. It becomes part of their daily life, right? It becomes normal for them. So you as a parent, you need to make sure that you train a child, a male child, to support the sister in the house, no matter what. The housework is not just for specific gender. The housework is for everyone in the house, making sure that you as a boy, when you wake up in the morning, when your sister's lighting fire for example, you make sure you clean the compound. When your sister is cleaning the compound, you help in what? Lighting up the fire. This is how parenting is supposed to be. The same way how you want a child to support the sister when they're on menstruation is how also you train them by telling them, you know what, when your sister is in this period of time, they go through some changes in their body. And when they're going through those changes, you're supposed to be their support. You're supposed to be there, listen to them. When they say they need to help, make sure you comply and you help them. It doesn't matter if they're younger than you, they're bigger than you, just have to help them. It is the only way you will groom a child to be the responsible person you want them to be. Because looking at it, today, if you don't train a child from these aspects, you leave them to grow up with this community or societal beliefs of a man is not supposed to touch menstrual product. Let me say, a man is not supposed to buy it. Do you think that child will grow up to be a responsible person? No. The child will grow up to be a person who just knows that I'm a male child, I'm an alpha. I am not supposed to do this. I'm supposed to receive, not to give. I'm supposed to tell, to command. You see? So this is why we as a community, we as a parent, we need to look from the best parenting approach of sitting down. Right now, some of these churches are even offering this program for parenting, how to have God-fearing parents, right? Family. So they offer it why because they want the family to get understanding. It's not always the girl child who should only do one to three without the boy child. The boy child should be part of the supporting system that making sure that everything is going hand in hand without discriminations, without stigma, without any stereotyping.
Thank you very much on that, Patrick. And I think that is really well put. And it's important for the parents to take part in, as you say, training their children very well, letting them know about what to do, what not to do, letting them know that this is a normal process and it happens to every lady. And it's really very important. Thank you on that. And then the other question is, what message would you like to actually give the girls who still feel like, the whole period thing is a shameful thing, or they get anxious when they get into periods? What message would you pass to them?
Okay, that one is very important. Why? Because they are the one who are going through it. So the moment you see your period and you start thinking like, I am ashamed to talk to someone about it, then you're actually running away from what? From wisdom. Like what my Nigerian friend is saying. That some people are running away from wisdom, not knowing that wisdom is what they should run into. So the more,
Yeah.
the more you run away, the more you are silent, the more you are afraid of opening up about what you go through when you're on your menstruation. Believe me, you will not get all the help you need. Because the one thing I can tell you is to have a conversation around your period, around menstruation, is to sit down, go to the hospital. If you fear to talk to your friend, we have these medical personnel. You go to them, you sit down, you ask them. Because I know right now in most of the hospitals we have this department for sexual reproductive health and rights. You'll find those educators there, you'll find these peer educators there, you'll find these counselors there. Every group is there. They will help you so much in order for you to understand why it is important for us to have conversation. One thing I can tell you out there is a young girl who's just in a period and then you're feeling shy. You don't need to feel shy about it. You should be proud. Believe me, you should be very proud that you are blessed because through that you can actually give back. Through that you can see a life coming to what? A life coming to creation. So you don't need to have that fear. You need to be very proud. And anyone who is talking negative on you, they will never understand. You should be the only one who understand why it is important for you to see your period, and you don't have to have the fear of talking about it. You should talk about it to your peer, uh, educators. You should talk about it to your friends who are of the same age group. You should talk about it to your parents. Open up to them because they, as the parents, they will know how to help you. They, as your pair, they will know how to talk to you about it. Even those health providers within different hospitals, within different clinics, they will even help. Even in the pharmacists, you have the specialists, people who sell these drugs, they have this knowledge about this reproductive health, especially when it comes to menstruation. Talk to them when you're going to buy the sanitary pads, and then you feel like you want to have a conversation, they always give you the listening ear. So we shouldn't be fear. It should be something that we're proud of. It should be something that we should talk about it anywhere at any given moment that we got. So there is no fear in that. There is only what pride. Demonstration should be your pride, and that's one thing you should always hold into.
Yes, that is really a very empowering message. And I think it's really a very beautiful message out there. And I think everyone should be able to take that and utilize it. So to wrap up with our conversation, we can talk about the final question, which says, what is one key thing you wish every man or a woman or teachers or parents, what is that one thing that you really wish they would understand about menstruation?
That one thing that you really love to use about menstruation, what I can say is they should see menstruation as a normal fact of life. Menstruation is a blessing. Menstruation is a right, it is that one thing that I would love everyone to preach about. Because you as a teacher, it becomes a priority to teach about it to the students, so that all of them will understand that we don't need to have a stereotyping, we don't need to bully, we don't need to laugh at our girls when they're on demonstration. We need to support them, we need to stand with them, and we need to uplift them when they're feeling low, when they're on demonstration. This is what you as a teacher should be doing. You as a parent in the house, it becomes your greater role to make sure that you empower both your boy child and your girl child, making sure you give them the same equal platform. Because right now, we look at the equality, yes, we have the equality, yes, the boy and the girl have been given equality, but then we need to focus also on the equity. You as a parent, you should have equity among your kids. The fairness of treating them equally should always come first when you're having a boy and a girl, making sure that, yes, you don't discriminate them, but also give them the equal chance, opportunity to do things all together without neglecting this one's right or neglecting the other one's right. Back to our community leaders, we need to have more conversations around menstruation because we have been tied down so much by our cultures, our norms. You as a community leader, it should be a first priority also to talk to your community to make sure that you invite these organizations, you invite these other institutions to come within your community to create more awareness, to come within your community to have a dialogue or conversation of change. These transformative conversations always, they're very important because it comes with innovations, it comes with creativity, and it comes with uh, positive impacts that change our social behavior, change attitude towards certain things. So you as a community leader, let me say, you should be the key person within your community to make sure that you see your community is transforming from where they are into a better future, into something right. And to our government, I just want to say we need to have more engagement, more advocacy. We should be having these advocacies on menstrual health management. We should have these advocacies training, empowering our girls and our boys, making sure that they also speak with one voice when it comes to menstrual health. They have access to cheaper menstrual products. They have access to clean wash facilities within schools and within hospitals, so that at least we know that our girls are going to have hygienically, they're going to be healthy, physically they're going to be fit, and mentally they're going to be healthy, they're going to be well, so that they also don't feel the discrimination, they don't feel the fear, or they don't feel any shame of opening up or talk about it. And to everyone out there who is listening, I just want to say this conversation is very important. We will actually should appreciate this platform for giving to us this day to converse about our menstrual product, because it is our daily life. Right now, I'm talking here, there's someone outside there who's menstruating. And then once when we have that conversation, they listen and they know how to protect themselves. And to all of us who are out here listening, I need us to take this practice into action so that at least we make sure we change our communities, we transform our community into better community that can stand with everyone, a community that can support everyone. Thank you.
Sure. Uh, Thank you very much. I think you've really mentioned a lot of things, and literally you've spoken to almost everyone, the audience, the government, the community leaders, and each and every other person, including the parents. So that is really very wonderful of you, and we really appreciate your time for coming to Bridge Talks and sharing your insights about menstrual hygiene. I believe it's really very helpful to our audience, and I can't really thank you enough about that. Apart from that is, I think you said earlier you're a content creator. That is part of what you do. And I
Yeah.
think it's good if you could share your handles where people can find you on Facebook, YouTube, or any other platform.
As for now, most of the contents I create is related to work. Yes, I have my personal, but yet I have not decided uploading because I want to have my own website where I can put all my work there. But as for now, most of my work I do it and I put it up on a social media for the organization, which is African South Sudan. That is our Facebook page. You can go through, you will see some of the work I do, the content I create, and the work I can do within the community. You'll find most of the work up there.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think we have come to the end of the conversation. And I hope probably Bridge Talks will be able to actually partner with African one time, because these are also some of the things that we like to deal in and we like to do for the community. So probably in the near future, if there is a chance, we shall be happy for that. So thank you
Yeah,
very
so
much.
we're also
And
looking.
yes.
Now we're saying, yeah, we're also looking forward to that to have this collaboration with Victor because we love also for you to come out here to our community and listen from them direct. We'll appreciate that also.
Sure, thank you very much. We have come to the end of our discussion, and great appreciation to Patrick for the insights that he has shared with us. And we get to realize that menstruation is not shameful, silence is. When we talk openly, we protect health and restore dignity. Let this conversation continue in our homes, schools, and communities. Thank you for listening to Bridge Talks. Let's keep building bridges through dialogues. Actually, if you love the work that we are doing as Bridge Talks, then share the video, like it, and comment. Thank you very much. We meet in the next episode. Bye bye.